Hello, welcome to the J-List, and today I will be doing an album review of Derby by Slugger. This is their first album that I've seen on any DSPs, and I was quite honestly very impressed. I randomly stumbled across it one day when just trying to find some new music. Figured I would give it a go, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised. So I'm looking forward to any future projects that they may have coming out. But there's a total of 13 tracks on this album, and beginning with Deer in the Belly of the Snake. I thought this was a heart-wrenching opening. It was absolutely beautiful. It builds up like midway where it like brings in some drums and starts digging into like the family elements, which is a topic we will see later on in the album. This is also when we're introduced to this like very pitched up voice. It sounds very cool and it works, and like we'll see a lot of it throughout the album. But after that, we have track number 2, Money Fight. He begins discussing troubles with understanding a partner. So he kind of deviates away from the family aspect of things and then is already creeping into the love life. So it's really cool seeing him balance these dynamics from the jump. But with Money Fight, he's trying to, understand where he's fighting through certain ongoing troubles and difficulty he has even looking into his partner's eyes. There's a line on there where he, refers to, despite everything, he like can't even look into their eyes anymore. And it's like really heart-piercing lyrics like that, along with the melody of the track, that really sold me on it and made me want to listen further. Mind you, it's just track 2. Very impressed. So with track 3, we have Move Like That. So this one was really cool. It becomes into the song with like the standard pitch to his voice that we haven't seen quite yet. I know it's only 3 tracks in, but it was quite the not jarring switch up, but very unexpected, but more than welcome because he delivers super well. He's just able to showcase his vocals. It's a very groovy song. It hits like with a fun inflection of company towards the end, which is really cool. Super left field, but I was more than welcome to really appreciate that idea. 4 was Glow. Track number 4 is Glow. That was a very interesting song. It's like a Jersey club type beat, but it's like sad. It's like a sad Jersey club beat. Very, very cool. He's confessing love and being stronger than anyone else for his lover. Like, you can find this person, that person, I don't care. I'm like the one, like the person for you. And I thought the way he articulated that feeling across this song translated really well. I like how he's, balancing these variations of like, all right, we're going to go family, and then we're going to go partner, high pitch, low pitch, upbeat, slow beat. It sounds all over the place, but when you actually listen to the album itself, it does it perfectly in a manner where you can track it and it all feels good and delivered very well. Number 5, we have Jenny. It was a homage to a lover where it's like difficult to like reel them in, but whatever Jenny wants is what Jenny gets. And I don't know if Jenny's the name of his actual partner in real life or someone he had in the past or just an alias for someone. But this track, it was a fine track. I thought it was pretty cool where he's just like anything Jenny could possibly want, like I'm willing to do it for her. Now for track number 6, we have Mother Mary. It was a very endearing song. It has this like very nice sing-songy outro for it with like a really solid chorus. I really like listening to it as a whole. It was one of my probably top 5 from the album. One line I thought that was really interesting in here was, I'll be the creak in your porch, knock at your door. I thought it was just such a sweet little line that no matter where the artist may go in their life, they are still there for this person. Whether it's in the afterlife or if they're just moved on in life, they'll still always be a part of that person's life, which I thought was very endearing. For track number 7, we have Gold. Gold is another example of there being really great lyrics throughout, the whole track, and it sounds good. I did have an issue with this one, which is kind of my only real standout from the album that I didn't really love too much. Still a fun song, but it kind of felt as if it was lacking direction and didn't really form a full cohesive idea of what it wanted to be as a track. Like I wasn't able to really label it as any kind of song or anything like that, or any generic direction that I was trying to go to. Still not a bad listen. Just kind of a low point for the album. Following that, we actually have one of the biggest highlights of the album, track number 8, Ultraviolet. This track I just absolutely loved. So he's pretty much just talking about being in the bed of his truck, just super drunk and evaluating his relationship and where they stand with one another. And this is one of those more uplifting ones because he's like, I just want to be with my lover to the end. And it's really cool that in this moment of like darkness, like, you know, when you're blasted in the back of a pickup, it could so easily deviate to like the sad, bad feelings. But it's beautiful to see him realizing that, like, despite everything that's going on in his life, he's like, I don't care. Like, I just want to ride it out. Now, for track number 9 here, we have Two Step. It was a nice tune. I don't really have much on this track. I thought it was a fun little listen. There's like a Nun Honey part that was pretty pleasant to listen to. Outside of that, not much to report, but still a good one. Now, the next track, 100 Degrees, I thought was definitely much more interesting. This kind of gives us a more pitched down side of his vocals that we haven't seen a ton of throughout the whole album. Not that it's a bad thing. I think, Slugger balances them pretty well all throughout with which song should have that vocal inflection that's higher and which one should have that deeper tone. 100 Degrees is a great example of that. And it's very groovy and it's also very interesting. He's talking about like willing to change like everything that he has to offer for a specific person, which is, I mean, realistically pretty toxic. But it is cool to see like all these different elements of like being cool and happy with the lover, and then the other side of like all the deep things we're willing to do for a person to accept us. As for track number 11, One Time Forever, it kind of combines everything I've been talking about with like the really pitched up voice and then the slowed down voice. But it comes together really well. But it rotates between a slow and fast pace for the song, and it sounds chaotic, but it balances pretty well. I was pretty impressed with like the way the song was structured as a whole and how it was delivered. I think it definitely could have gone south, but I think it was structured just fine. For our final 2 tracks of the album here, we have track number 12, Shotgun. This song was very interesting because vocally it's very impressive, but the instrumental itself is pretty stripped back, not a ton going on. But he is trying to say he wants to be like his everything for his girl, and it's a beautiful little sing-songy kind of tune. I think it's another one of the highlights on the album for sure. I would definitely put it in probably the top 3 tracks, maybe 5, probably 3. But I was very impressed with Shotgun as a whole. I don't want to go too far into it because I think it just needs its own individual listen. And then for track 13, we have Armored. This is a very, very impressive song. I think this was honestly the best, and it's the outro. It's the final song. It's beautiful. His vocals really shine through. He lets them take over, and it has this like very slow guitar strum all throughout the track, and it's just a beautiful outro as a whole, and it pretty much rounds out the album where he began a bit with the family side of things, but then really crept into the relationship perspective of things, and it kind of goes to show like how far Slugger is willing to go for love and the desire behind the love and what drives him about it and everything. So I thought that was very impressive and honestly a golden way to round it out. I think that's why I ended up being up so high for me, is because of just how perfect it was at capturing the album as a whole. But yeah, that was Derby by Slugger, and I was, like I said, very impressed. If I had to rate it as a whole, I would give it a solid 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I'm definitely looking forward to more from him because this was just a one-off random album I had to stop by and listen to, and it kind of blew me away. So here's hoping to a few more tracks. This came out back in April, I believe, of this year. So there's definitely, a lot of time in his career for him to blossom and show us what else he has to offer. So very much looking forward to that. Thank you.